Hello, this is Jason P. Wilson, Zero and X-Force, and this is my DC comic pull list and review for the last few weeks in comics, almost a month actually. And today is the 31st of July, and it is a Tuesday. And of course, tomorrow more comics are coming out, so I thought it'd be the best time to go ahead and post my large list of comics that I've picked up since my last posting. So first up here is number 2 of Silk Spectre before Watchmen. I'll go ahead and do all the ones I've picked up thus far. Now, I reviewed the first one, and I thought the first one was very good. There was a few things about it. I'm a big fan of these teams they've been putting on these before Watchmen's. I mean, they're fantastic teams, and I was really excited to see what this team would do. Now, Amanda Conner is one of my favorite individuals to work on anything. I really loved the work she did before, and even though so far I'm getting a very kind of 60s type Flower Child kind of lighter version than I may have originally wanted, I'm still enjoying it. It's not my favorite of the Watchmen, but it is very good and definitely worth reading. Now, my only thing here is for those of you who are maybe deciding whether you want to pick up before Watchmen or not, and if you do, which ones. It's all about the individuals, because what characters do you like, basically? For me, it's also like a hard decision, because these are $3.99 books each. They're not cheap, even though they come with a really nice quality cover and pages. I would say a good level above your average comic. It does feel nice to hold these nice, shiny, glossy finish covers in your hands. It feels almost like when you're reading a independent comic like IDW or Image, even a little better than that. But when you think about it, all these will be coming out on trade, and for $3.99 each issue, some of these are only 4, others are like 6 issues. You know, you have to ask yourself, which of these do I want to pick up on singles, and which do I want to wait for a trade? So it's really all about what characters you love. For instance, I kind of dropped Minutemen. I'm not going to be picking up Minutemen anymore, even though I liked it. After the first couple issues, here, I'll put this up here. After the first couple issues, I thought, you know what? I like it, but I am perfectly fine just picking up the trades on Minutemen. I mean, it's a 6 issue miniseries, $3.99 each. I would rather just, wait and pick up the trade, because they will be coming out in trade, probably hardback as well. So Minutemen, I am definitely crossing off my list to pick up, even though I think it's good. I think of all the titles, it's my least favorite. Another one I'm thinking about maybe dropping is the Silk Spectre I just showed. Again, I like it a lot. I love Amanda Conner. I really want to support her work. But at the same time, I could totally wait for it to come out in trade. I don't need to read the very next issue. So, for both Silk Spectre and Minutemen, for me, it's a wait till trade. Though, this is a very comic booky type feel, almost like Archie style, which is kind of nice. And Silk Spectre is what you usually expect from Amanda Conner and her work. It has a very kind of light feel to it, great expressions, really, really good writing. But again, it's really light and bright, and it's cool to see Silk Spectre in that light, but yeah, it's something that I could totally wait on. Next up here, though, is one of my absolute favorite before Watchmen. And I think the best thing about this is the beautiful combination of great, great artwork. I mean, this artwork absolutely blew me away. It's absolutely beautiful. It captures exactly what's going on in the storyline. Like, you could almost not even need dialogue. Even though the dialogue is fantastic, you could almost just figure out what's going on by the panels alone. It is absolutely great. Now, the story itself is really good, and you know, this is the villain of the Watchmen book, right? So you really get to feel like who he was before. He starts out as a kid. He's extremely intelligent, and how he deals with like the local bully, and you know, he's able to master martial arts at a very young age. All these really interesting things. After the first issue, I was like, I have to read these. I have to get this. So if I was only keeping one of Before Watchmen, this one would be it. Now, this is a 6-part series, and I have to say, I'm really glad it's a 6-part series. With Minutemen, after the second one, I was like, I don't know, this better get really good later. But with this one, right off the bat, first issue, and I was totally hooked. Absolutely love this. It's a definitely must pick up. And next for a must pick up, in my opinion, is Night Owl. And Night Owl is my second favorite Before Watchmen to come out so far. Now, of course, Rorschach hasn't come out yet, and neither has Dr. Manhattan. So, you know, this could change. But this was exactly what I wanted. It has really good artwork. We get to see Night Owl in his prime. In fact, he's just discovering and becoming almost like an origin story. And some people complain about origin stories. I always love origin stories if they're done right. And after the first issue, I was really excited to read the rest. Now, again, it's in my second favorite category. That could switch up once Rorschach comes out, maybe even Dr. Manhattan. But I absolutely really enjoyed this, and I couldn't have been more happy with issue number 1 of Night Owl. Next up is issues 1 and 2 of a surprise for me. I really enjoy the comedian. I loved him in the original Watchmen. I love him in the series, the movie. Excuse me. So, you know, I loved reading him in the comics. I loved watching him on the screen. He was a really unique character, but I wasn't sure if I was gonna care to read a story focusing on him. Though he was such an interesting character, I definitely wanted to read it. I have to say, I was pleasantly surprised. After issue 1, I really love how they immerse you in the story by basically having real events. Like, out of all the characters so far, the comedian really, absolutely has had an incredible, like, iconic life. Like, he's been, like, right there in the center of all these greatest moments in the 20th century type situations, and it's really cool kind of seeing history happen with him right there in the audience, like with Muhammad Ali, and with the assassination of Kennedy, where he was when that happened, his moment. And I won't spoil it, but those moments, some really revealing things happen. And the comedian becomes this very, very relatable character, someone who you see all of his faults, but then when you see it like deep inside where he hides himself, even though he's a despicable human being, other times you really kind of feel for him. And I was surprised that I felt that way. And after the first 2 issues, I have to say, it's a 6-part series, and this team is absolutely doing a job that has captivated me and has been blowing me away. First first 2 issues are fantastic, and I feel that it's only going to get better from here. A definite super strong recommendation for Before Watchmen Comedian. And next up here for my DCs is Superman Action Comics number 11. After that, what happened in the last episode or issue, I was kind of curious what direction we were going to go with Superman. And even though obviously this is just a piece of the puzzle, and I won't say that I'm 100% pleased yet, because it's just now realizing, like, just like on the cover says, the shocking reason behind his new secret identity. I do like what Morrison is doing here and how he's really changing, but then keeping the best parts of Superman. So I won't. It's hard to make a judgment quite yet. It's still kind of early on what's going on here. But I was pleased with issue number 11, and Superman Action Comics is still the must-get Superman comic out there. Absolutely, I've been really loving this series, and I'm really curious what's going to happen in 12. Now, I'm going kind of quick on these overviews and reviews, just because there's so many for me to go through. Obviously, I'm going to try and really post more often, but sometimes it's difficult. But next up here is Detective Comics number 11, and this is probably going to be my last Detective Comics. I keep on saying that, but then I always pick up another one. But we're at a part of the story where I'm not really... I really like it, but there's so many other, in my opinion, better Batman comics out there that this is a $4 comic that I could just stop reading. 11 was good, a good solid issue. All of them have been good and solid. But for me personally, this is the Batman comic I can let go. Even though it's a legacy and I really wanted to hold on to it, yeah, I think I'm pretty much done with Detective for now. Next up is Earth 2. This has been a big surprise, I think, on everyone's list. I'm still debating whether I'm going to keep on picking up singles or just pick up trades. But I will say this about Earth 2. It's really fresh. It's really exciting. Beautiful artwork. Vibrant colors. Absolutely love how they put these unique twists on classic characters. And I'm really liking all the characters, but I have to say, this new Green Lantern is so interesting. We get to see his origin and what happens, and I don't want to spoil anything, but basically his lover is killed, and what happens after that basically shows how he's become the Green Lantern. I also really like what they're doing, like with his power. I don't think it's going to be the whole Guardians on a different planet type situation with this new Green Lantern of the Earth 2. It seems to be more of like the power of Earth type situation. Also, this light, this entity that's given him the power, is really like how the Guardians were always kind of like asses. This light, this green light, is super like nurturing and really sweet and nice, and I don't know. I really liked it. My favorite issue so far, and my absolute favorite part of the series now. Even though I love what they're doing with Flash, how he is really a god, and how what they're doing with Hawkgirl. My favorite part of this so far is this fantastic origin here of Green Lantern. I really love this character, and I don't know, there's something about it feels fresh and exciting. Earth 2 is a great comic. And next up here is a kind of companion book for the Earth 2s, and that is World's Finest, and this is obviously Supergirl / Power Girl and Robin, daughter of Batman / Huntress, coming from Earth 2, coming to the main DCU through a portal. And it hasn't been the best, but it definitely is interesting. If you like these characters, I would say it's a pretty strong recommendation. Though don't expect it to be a tier book. It definitely feels like a $2.99 book. But you know, if you really need some Power Girl or you really need some Huntress, this is a great way to do it. A mild recommendation for World's Finest. I myself am probably going to stop getting them after issue number 3 here. Next up are Justice Leagues number 10 and 11. What can I say? Justice League has been the must-get DC book here for a while, and pretty much there's a reason why. It's two of the best writer and artists and inkers in comic book anywhere you go. DC, Marvel, doesn't matter. This is one of the best teams you could ever have on a book, and they've been sticking here with Justice League for the most part, and it's shown. It's not always perfect, but it's always enjoyable. I'm always looking forward to the next Justice League, and I've been really wanting to get into Justice League, and when they relaunched it with the whole 52, New 52, all that stuff, I was really excited to get on this book, and I have yet to be disappointed. It is fantastic, and each story arc so far has been good enough for me to want to buy them on trade. Definitely a must read, and definitely one of the must get comics, whether from DC or Marvel. The story arc right now, I think, is just now getting going. Now, a lot of buzz has been around the Shazam. I think the Shazam story is a nice little bonus. It's a very good story, and I've been enjoying it immensely. But for me, still the main draw here is Justice League, and without giving any spoilers, I really think the next couple issues is going to be pretty intense. May even have some twists and turns that people were not expecting. Beautiful artwork, obviously, and very, very good writing, obviously. Must get for anyone who's semi-interested in Justice League. Now is definitely the time to pick up. If you don't want to pick up back issues, that's okay. See if you can get number 10 and 11, and then just pick up trades to read the back issues. But excellent comic, definitely must get. Next up here with my DCs are two of the best Batman books, and part of the reason why I'm dropping Detective, and that is there's a lot of really good Batman books out there, and they're not cheap. Here is, of course, Grant Morrison, must read for anyone who's been reading Grant Morrison, and that's Batman Incorporated, number 2. And also here is the fantastic flagship Batman book, and I used to say that was Morrison, but I really think it's Schneider now, and that is Batman number 11. This is the epic finale of the Court of Owls. Let's see here. Scott Snyder, must read, beautiful artwork from Capullo. This has been one of the have-to-read comics out there. Grant Morrison, you know what? He still brings to the table everything that people love about him. In fact, I wasn't 100% pleased with the initial launch of Batman Incorporated, but with the whole relaunch with the DCU and wrapping up the whole Leviathan storyline, not wrapping it up, but getting pretty much the wrap up there, with the whole new 1 and 2s here, I've been even much more pleased. The artwork is great, definitely what you would expect from this fantastic team, but Morrison's writing, in my opinion, is at an all-time high. This is one of my favorite issues, number 2 here of Batman Incorporated, and you really get one of my favorite characters is Jason Todd, and like a lot of people, I really love Damian Wayne too. So basically you have Jason Todd versus Damian Wayne in here, and even though it's quick, you can tell that it's going to heat up later. As well as you have some great conversations here with Miss Ghoul and Mr. Wayne. So really, really great artwork and good storytelling. I really loved Batman Incorporated number 2 immensely. And for the epic finale of the Court of Owls, absolutely breathtakingly fantastic. Now, both these books have huge spoilers in them, so I'm not going to say too much about it, but if you haven't been reading these two comics, you're missing out. Go pick up back issues. With Batman Incorporated, it'll be easier. With Batman, it's probably best to pick up the trades and try to get caught up. Absolutely the two best Bat books out there. Fantastic. And next up here is the third best Bat book, and that is Batman and Robin. First of all, there's a bit of a mistake. I've been reading a lot of comics. The whole conversation between Damian and Jason Todd, that's in here. That's in Batman and Robin. That was not in the Batman Incorporated. Batman Incorporated is Miss Ghoul and Mr. Wayne and their relationship, and some pretty awesome storytelling there. But I kind of mixed that in, and I apologize for that. But this is the comic I was thinking of, and that is the confrontation of Damian Wayne and Jason Todd, two of my favorite Robins, head to head. They really don't like each other, and obviously they're both cocky and they're both full of themselves. So when they're in the same room, they're just it's really great to read and to see. And even though Damian gets a better in the exchange this time, I'm really looking forward to Jason Todd, Red Hood, coming back. And this is a great issue. And Batman and Robin is definitely, there's a lot of great Bat books out there. Even Detective is a really good Bat book. But this is definitely third behind Snyder's Batman and Morrison's Batman Incorporated. Those are the best. This is really close, right up there. If you're getting three Bat books, those are the three to get, absolutely. Batman and Robin, excellent, as always, and this is number 11, and it's definitely a time for people to start jumping on. Great comic, and all three of those books get my highest recommendations, and they're absolutely must-reads for anyone who reads Batman. Next up here is another great Bat book, and that is Batwoman. This is issues number 10 and 11. Some people have commented that they really loved it at first, but they felt that they couldn't keep that momentum up, and that a lot of people were saying, well, it's still good, but it's not as good. Well, when you have an ongoing comic, you're going to have that type of highs and lows, but here's the thing. This team's lows are better than most people's highs. Most teams' highs are not as good as this team's lows. That's how good Batwoman is, in my opinion. They found a real good backup team so that the main team didn't have to constantly come out with a book every month. It gives them a break. But he always gets the covers done, and Williams, when he's doing the inside artwork, which he does, I would say most of the time, it is absolutely fantastic. Now, it doesn't matter. The teams that they put together are really good, and when you're waiting for the main team to come back, it's still extremely well done. Batwoman, in my opinion, other than the Batman main books that I just talked about, this is the other than Batman book of the Bat family to get. You got great stuff with Red Hood and with Nightwing, and Batgirl's been getting better, but Batwoman has been absolutely white hot from the beginning, and even though it dips a little bit, it's still really, really good. Another super strong recommendation, Batwoman number 10 and 11. They're absolutely must read. Some of my favorite books out there. And next up here is Batgirl number 10 and 11. Now, Batgirl number 10 and 11, I always love the covers. I especially love the artist that does number 11. He's one of my favorite artists that does any type of cover. I just wish he would do a full-on book. I personally haven't seen too much of that. But they get back to Batgirl. It is starting to get better. It's still one that I barely pick up. I really, really want to like it. But in my opinion, so far, it is not as good as the last volume of with Stephanie Brown and stuff. That in my opinion was much better. But you know, if you like Batgirl, I would still recommend picking this up. For me, I read a lot, and this might be one that I end up dropping soon. Yeah, but I think I'll try to pick up 12 at least. You know, I really want to see where this story arc goes. Barbara Gordon has some really cool enemies that she's been facing here, and I don't like to give away spoilers, but basically she gets tested in a way that I think is really interesting. Also, I'm kind of curious what they're going to end up doing with this confrontation. Maybe some new allies? I don't know. But Batgirl has been solid, but in my opinion, the weaker of the Bat books. A more impressive Bat book, in my opinion, is this one right here, and that's Nightwing. And this is number 10 and 11. Nightwing has been really good, especially with the whole Court of Owls thing. That was one of the best ones, was the Nightwing side stories. But right now, Dick Grayson has been really having some big challenges, and the team on this has done a great job. I don't always love the artwork. The artwork is up and down with me. Covers are always great. But inside the book, sometimes it's a little ugly. Other times it's pretty good. That goes up and down. But the story writing, extremely solid. If you're a Dick Grayson fan, Nightwing is absolutely a must pick up. And it's definitely one of the stronger Bat books, besides the main Batman books, out there. I would actually pick up this over Detective. It's a really great series. And next up here is Catwoman. I hate to say this, but Catwoman's been pretty good, but it hasn't kept my interest like it did at first. At issue 10, I'm dropping Catwoman. I really don't like this new partner guy, Thief, that she's been hanging with. He's very uninteresting to me. His electric power and all that kind of stuff. I stayed on with her through the Court of Owls thing. I really did like that one shot. I'm sure there's a lot of great issues coming out for Catwoman. It's just, in my opinion, it's not interesting right now. I will keep my eyes out on Catwoman, possibly pick up, issues here and there. But for now, my interest has dropped. Even though I really, really like Jed Winnick, and I'm sure he's going to do some great stuff, I really hate to drop it, because I know I'm going to drop it and then regret it later. But right now, I'm just barely enjoying Catwoman. A good artwork. It's just the storylines to me, the characters that she's involved with, they're just not very interesting. Like they were. At first, they were just, I was really into it, especially the first story arc. Really liked it. Yeah, but for now, Catwoman, I think I'm going to stop picking up. Next up is another one of my favorite other Bat books, and that's Red Hood. Again, I'm a big Jason Todd fan, so I'm sure that has a lot to do with it. But I've been really enjoying Red Arrow's last Arsenal here and Starfire. I think this trio is just really interesting. It's not, I kind of say it's kind of like DC's Deadpool, not in the humor, not at all like that. But when Deadpool's serious, he goes into space and all these really interesting things are happening around Deadpool. That's what kind of happens in Red Hood. It's a very different Bat book. Red Hood and Outlaws, they're doing interesting things. Right now they're in space. They're basically going with Starfire and following her in one of her adventures. And it has a very fun kind of like comic book feel. Like a lot of the Bat books out there, they're dark and they're great, but this is kind of really like bright and mostly in daylight. And, they're in space now. And when you're reading Deadpool, you don't know what you're going to get. When a new story arc, anything could happen. So you take the crazy humor out of it, which of course I love about Deadpool, but you take that out of it, and that's kind of what you have here with Red Hood and the Outlaws. You never know when to expect what the next story arc could take you anywhere. So yeah, this is definitely a recommendation if you have any type of passing interest in Red Hood and the Outlaws. It's a really good comic, and for $2.99, it's a great one. I don't necessarily think it's a must-read if you're not interested in those characters, but I enjoy the heck out of it. Definitely pick up trades. Next up here is the last issue I'm picking up of Batman Beyond Unlimited. Hey, if you like Batman Beyond, you have to pick up this comic. But again, I have so many comics that I pick up. I really need to cut way, way, way back, and this is one of the ones I'm cutting back. It's a really good issue also. You get a lot for, it used to be $2.99, I believe, when it first came out. Now it's $3.99. That's all I needed for me to push me off the book. Though, if you like Batman Beyond, it's definitely, this will not disappoint. Really good artwork, true to the animated series, and I've really been enjoying the storytelling. But for me, this is the last issue. Still, I do recommend it for anyone with a passing interest. Next up here is Wonder Woman. Now, Wonder Woman is one of the why aren't you reading this comic books. Now, it does get a pretty decent sale base, but it's great. It is. Now, it's not connected hardly at all with the DCU. I mean, it is, but Wonder Woman's really doing her own thing in this book. If you're looking for a complement book to Justice League, it won't really help you out there, because this is basically Wonder Woman dealing with her base, like the gods that she interacts with, all that kind of type of dark stuff. That's what this is about, and it does it fantastic. I mean, artwork, great. No matter what team is on here, I am blown away by the artwork. My favorite, of course, is the main team that started the book. That's when it's at its best. But the backup team, really, for instance, the backup team's on number 10, the main team is on 11. 11 is superior, absolutely, in artwork, but the backup team on 10 does a good job in keeping you in the story while the main team is doing the next comic. The writing, perfect. The artwork, fantastic. If you like Wonder Woman, you have to pick up this book. If you don't like Wonder Woman, I challenge you to pick up this book and read one of the story arcs, any of the story arcs, and then tell me at the end of that story arc if you don't like Wonder Woman now. Absolutely love this book. Next up is pretty much the same thing. Aquaman is really, why aren't you reading this book? It's a great title. It's Jeff Johns, a great team. The artwork is fantastic. The covers are beautiful. Inside artwork is beautiful. I just love it. It's alive. Like, look at these covers. That basically was happening inside the book. It's just alive. Like, you're turning the pages and splashes and action and gripping characters, and this is the best series of Aquaman I have ever read, and it is just getting better. Absolutely love this book. I'll pull it on this and Wonder Woman. I'll pull it out of my saver because I just don't have a lot of money. But whenever I go in, I always pick it up because I just can't wait to see what happens in Wonder Woman, and I can't wait to see what happens in Aquaman. Both great books. If you're not picking up on singles, shame on you. But if you're not, and you're not going to, definitely pick these up in trade. I believe the Wonder Woman and Aquaman first story arc is out on trade now, and you can get it on Amazon for like under $10. Absolutely must get. Both great comics. Love them. And next up here, I want to show this comic. I've been keeping up with it because I'm getting ready to send these to my my niece, and I picked them up for her. But I've also, I'm preparing them to send them out. But I also read them, and I've been really liking it. Teen Titans is definitely for $2.99 an issue. It's a must read. Now, some of the stuff can get pretty intense. like for little kids or whatever. But for the most part, it's a really good teen book, and I've been impressed with Teen Titans from the beginning. Issues number 10 and 11 are no exception. Great comics. Last up here for DC is extremely family friendly, kid friendly book, and that is Young Justice. I actually got off this book for a while, but I was missing it so much. I picked up all the issues brand new off eBay that I was missing, and now I have it back on my saver. And I'm just going to show these two of the newest of Young Justice. I've said it before, it keeps in line with what's going on with the animated series. It's basically what happens in between episodes. Now, even though the episodes of the animated series, they've already changed the team, it was like 5 years later. Young Justice is just getting ready to do that in the book. And that team will be changing here, I think, in number 19 or 20. So it's a little behind when it comes to the series, but because it comes out every month and not every season, whenever the new season of Young Justice comes up, it's always caught up. But they're really great. They're E for everyone. If you're a kid, you'll love reading this book. If you're an adult, you'll also love reading this book. If you watch the animated series, I can't recommend Young Justice strong enough. But if you don't watch the series, you should be. And this is a great way to get introduced to these characters. Now, this is not the main DCU. I believe it's like Earth 14 or Earth 16, one of those. So you get these nice little twists on characters that we all know. But unlike Earth 2, this is very kid-friendly, and it's fun getting these nice twists on classic characters. You really get to know the personalities of this team, and they really make you care for them. Definitely a great, strong recommendation for Young Justice. And with that, those are my DCs. Again, I will try to post this more often, so I don't have such a long review. This one's gonna be like 37 minutes. Hope you guys stuck with it, and thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.